Hey, bonjour, my name is Cendrine. I am an Ascension mentor and trance channel to the Arcturian Healing Council. So today we would like to share with you about the collapse of timelines and how we can collapse or delete timelines and use our imagination to anchor ourselves into the most ascended timeline available to us right now. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you enjoyed this video, thank you very much in advance for clicking subscribe. I would really appreciate. Also, you can like this video and comment. It's so really nice. I love hearing from people and that share their experiences, ask questions. We're here to create a community, not just for me to deliver content. So I like to have an exchange. So if you feel called to share with me, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Okay, so let's dive into the subject by first starting to explain a little bit the concept of timelines. So the timelines are literally all the timelines available to us. So it's like all the lives available to us in this very moment, knowing that every time we make a decision, there is a shift in timelines. Every time also we think about certain things, we are going to shift the timelines. So for example, we can take a lowest timeline possible, which will be very much with our lower self as well. So I could think about me like if I was still drinking and smoking weed heavily and having sex with, lots of random people, for example. So all of that would be like the lowest version of me possible. And I would just not have this, amazing business that I have created, and I would not have any of this. So like I would be broke, I don't even have children, and so on and so on. So that would be like the worst version of myself possible in this reality. And then we have the best version, and the best version of myself is like, it's right, I'm trying to accomplish right now. It's by, being there present for my physical body, keeping my physical body pure, like really eating really healthily, exercising, meditating, going to have saunas, staying in alignment with my divine sacred sexuality, and so on and so on. So you can see the two extremes, right? And it is highest reality, I also work, with devotion into aligning myself with my soul mission and bringing my soul mission to life every single day of my life. So you can see the difference. And between these two extremes, there is an array, like a vast array of possibilities that are there. And they are all the versions of myself. And all of these versions are basically creating timelines. I am a daughter of the divine, like you are a son or a daughter, a child of the divine. We are fractals of source, and as such we are God and Goddess creator. So we are completely responsible for the reality we create. And of course, like things are going to start happening that are unpleasant, that are sometimes very traumatic for us as well, like shit happens, right? But it doesn't mean that we are in a lower timeline. What happens in those moments is the way we're going to hold space for ourselves and for others and for our experience. So for example, like for me, the last year, 2019 was the worst year of my life. Like honestly, it was the hardest ever, because it's when mom got sick, and after 9 months of declining rapidly, like she passed away. And I wasn't really this anchored in my soul mission either. I wasn't yet working with the Healing Council of Arcturus. I wasn't this driven, and I was a little bit broke as well, and all the money I had left basically went into buying, tickets to go back and see mom. But what I know for sure is that the decisions I made in those hardships were the best decisions I could have made. I didn't go back into drinking and smoking and, finding partners that are not adequate for me. I did smoke and drink, but for a very short period of time, like just a little bit in Belgium and just like for 1 week, literally 1 week, when I came back after Mom passed. And then I was like, this is it. So that's going to keep it a window like this, and this is it. So during that year, what I did was continuously anchor myself into the best version that could be in those moments. And there were moments where I just wanted to pass out. I just wanted to disappear. I just wanted to basically like not exist anymore. I was just crying. I was just like really helpless at certain stage. But always, I came back to myself. I was like, it's okay. You've got this. It's going to be all right. You've got to keep anchoring yourself in your light. I was, praying a lot to my friends in spirit, connecting as much as possible to my galactic friends. I started running. I started going, to have cold sea swims, because that would basically snap me out of my state of deep despair that I was in, because I was here, Mom was in Belgium, and like it was just like a freaking nightmare. But what I want to say with this is like, we cannot take what happens in our lives as excuses to drop into frequencies. So during that year, I experienced a lot of low frequencies. Of course, like sadness and anger, frustration, I was lost and so on. But I never identified with that. And that's the game changer, my friend. We do not identify with the low vibration that comes through us, with the lower feelings that come to us, because at times we are human and we simply need to process them as graciously as we can. And we process them graciously by not hooking onto them. And this is exactly how we collapse timelines, because we choose to be the bigger person, even though we do not know why it's happening. Even though like a lot of people, they can't connect with their friends in spirit. Like honestly, I've got a great connection. It's my job to connect with my galactic team, and it's been for a long time. But last year when I was that bad, it was a lot harder. I didn't have the guidance that I, for example, have today, or that I had previous to that. So basically it was relying on myself. Always we have the choice to find the inner resources, to choose love and compassion towards our own self and the situation, and to say, I do not understand this, but I have faith in the divine plan. I trust, I surrender, and I choose love and compassion and empathy above all. And that is the game changer in terms of accessing more ascended timelines available to us in our reality. Because let's say, so that is just an example, because it's way more than that. But let's say, for example, that there are 10 options out there for us in terms of reactions and imaginations and dreams and manifestations and so on. So like, let's say that there are 10 options. Like one being the most lower options of basically like, being a wreck and doing drugs and passing out and losing everything and being like the worst version of possible available to us right now. There's all this version, and then there is the highest version. And the highest version will be the version that's available to us right now, with what we have, meaning with all the work that we have done on ourselves in terms of spiritual growth and expansion. So for example, last year, the timeline that I am in now wasn't accessible yet, because I needed to do that work of really passing through the darkness to be able to come out the other side. So as I was there, let's say I was keep on anchoring myself, as I explained before, through all these hardships to, I choose faith, I choose love, I choose to be there for my family, I choose to spend all my money to be there for mom and my siblings and my aunties, because this is the higher path. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I know this in my heart, even though I just want to stay in bed and curl up and cry for the rest of my life. So because I chose to be the higher person, even if it was bloody hard, let's say that maybe 3-4 timelines that were the lowest version of me, they collapsed. So it means that I created, so like these ones, they started shifting like this, you know, like they started shifting. So then the one that was maybe the lowest, which was that the 4th one, it started shifting. And then I had more, a new, what's it called? Fan. A new, like, new options coming in terms of most ascended timelines. Does that make sense? So it happens like that, and of course it's multidimensional, and of course it's more than 10, and so on and so on, but it's just to give you a rough idea. Like, do you get me? So doing that over time, it's like we keep on shifting, we keep on bringing in more and more ascended timeline. I deeply know in my heart and soul that I made it last year, and as I've said it, I'm emotional, which actually really resonates, right? I made it last year because like this year, it's like my reality has entirely shifted. I never dreamt or even expected to be able to be such a powerful trance channel for the freaking Arcturian Council. It's like, oh my God, like it's just like next level, and like it's incredible. I never expected to be in the most powerful container for galactic business coaching with Gabi Kowalski ever. Like, I didn't even know she existed because she wasn't there, because I wasn't ready. And since then, I have made more friendships that are deeply soul-based that I have ever made in my life. Now I'm creating events. I am it's just like the expansion, my business, my online course, my offerings, my life, my health. I look younger even though I've aged. Like my financial situation, everything has changed, you know? It's only because every single day when I need to choose the higher path to the best of my abilities, I choose the higher path, knowing that I do with what I have, because we cannot do with what we don't have. We know what we know, right? So I would like for you to consider, maybe think for a moment about a time recently where you had these options, and which options did you choose? Did you choose the higher path, the highest timeline, the highest version of yourself? Or were you more like just kind of in the middle? Or maybe just right down at the bottom of the lower reaction #frequencies that you could have possibly put out there. And just receive this information with an open heart and connection and compassion. Because at times, like, we are always given the option, you know, like it's like a simple act of kindness, like deep honesty, you know, being there for another person, but also saying no. Saying no is very important because, as I mentioned this now, let's talk about bringing healthy boundaries to help with the collapse of outdated timelines. A lot of us, especially if you're listening to this, you will resonate. A lot of us are deep empath. As deep empath and light worker, we are here to help other people. We are here to serve. But there is a false template around that is going to drain people like us into giving, and feel completely depleted of life force energy. And the only way to work around that is to really tune in and create our healthy boundaries by saying no. Honestly, last year was the year where I said no the most. Also, I said no a lot when lockdown happened, and even after lockdown, when everybody started, you know, going out and partying, I kept on saying no. I just don't feel in aligned to that anymore. I'm not gonna hang out. I don't want to go to bars. I don't want to drink. I don't want to be in this kind of environment anymore. Maybe later I'll go again, you know, just have a dance. But this, like, it is gone, and I created boundaries which is allowed to keep me my time, my space, my abundance, and my life force energy to myself to place into creating my most ascended timeline. But that has to come out of alignment, out of devotion for our soul and our soul mission. It doesn't have to come for, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, or I cannot do this, I cannot do that. It's like it has to come from this calling inside. And put it out there, take aligned actions. Because a lot of empath and light workers, we're just going to do, oh, I'm just going to, for example, like Reiki healers, right? Like, oh, I'm just gonna, do a free session for that person. That person doesn't have much money. Oh, like, I'm just gonna do that and I can facilitate for free and so on and so on. I'm just gonna come and help you, even though like we have a calendar which is packed with family duties and things that we can't actually escape. So it's important to say no. It's just like, sorry, but actually I cannot help. I'm busy, like I've got other things to do. And yes, it requires practice, but it's very, very empowering. I can tell you, I've freed up so much time simply by saying no a lot. And it's very liberating. And by saying no to things that are not in alignment with my highest timeline, what it is that I'm creating for myself, I allow these timelines to literally collapse. These are no longer going to be part of my existence. And as they are still in my field, I just allow them to be. And the more I anchor myself in the most ascended timeline, the more these ones are going to collapse. And it's constant. It's constant like that. And then sometimes we are tempted, and sometimes we go like, oh, I'm just going to float a little bit there, a little bit that. Yes, like touching about this. I talk a lot to friends who work in the same field as me, like, like quantum healer and psychic and so on. And a lot of people share this. It's like sometimes we feel deeply committed, to our path, and we're like, oh yeah, I can really see it, I can really feel it, it's happening and so on and so on. And then we're not quite sure what happened. But we are again going on the other side. Oh, actually, like, it's kind of nice simply to be in 3D reality. Like, I'm not sure that it is my path, or I'm quite happy to do that job. I'm happy simply to be a human. And it's kind of this oscillation between the path of service, fulfilling all our soul callings and really using the gift that we were given in this life to be able to serve humanity as well as ourselves and the quantum. And then like it's this constant oscillation. This is actually an oscillation between timelines. We cannot choose, we cannot pick one. And because it happens of like, and I used to do that all the time. I could simply see myself just simply like buying a little house in the countryside and try to live, from the land and just do a few massage and psychic readings every now and then. It's like I can live like that. I've got this kind of monk / nun inside of me. Like I can just reactivate that and be there. But then there is another one when I see myself in front of a crowd of thousands of people and I'm doing all these crazy things which I know it's like trance channeling and mass activation, and I can see that, and I'm there standing with sisters on stage, and I can see like also this wealth, like in this empire and all of this service, all of these amazing souls that I'm serving, and like the shift that I'm bringing as being a leader. So you can see like it's quite different. But it's not that in the life where I'm by myself in my little house. There is nothing wrong with that. It's just that it's a different timeline. It's different. The impact that I have in one is very different than the impact that I have in the other. And if we oscillate constantly between these timelines, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think we are going to be able to anchor our soul and our soul mission? Do you think we're going to be able to download what we need to download in terms of frequencies and codes and services and products? Do you think we can call in divine union like that? Where is this divine union going to fit? Divine union is only going to come when we anchor ourselves in one timeline, because the partner like matching this timeline is going to show up. So when we oscillate constantly like that, what happens is that we start blocking ourselves. We block our evolution process. We end up procrastinating as well because we're never quite sure. And it's very subtle, because a lot of people, it's quite subtle, this, this shift in oscillation, and it's like we are happy as well, we're happy in one, we are happy in the other, and it's kind of, it's all right, one of the other, but it's like it will end up creating frustration and blocks and misalignments as well, in terms of relationship and friendships and work life, and also in our health. It can trigger stress and anxiety and simply feeling lost, because we are lost in between timelines. So what can we do? We can choose. So as I explained, you have all of these timelines available to you, and they match the frequencies that you are in now. So it's like, well, let's rephrase this. So we can shift quite quickly frequencies. Like one moment we can be very happy and centered and connected. It's like, oh, that's it, I'm reaching enlightenment. And then the next, it's like something happens. It's like, oh, why me? And so on and so on. So like we can shift like that as well, because of emotions coming and going. So reaching presence and detachment is very important, to be able to observe our own selves, move through life. And as we observe ourselves, we can become the guardian of our emotion, the guardian of our heart, the guardian of our soul, honoring everything, but always directing to the higher path, the highest version of ourselves, while holding space for the whatever experience we are going through at the moment. So, for example, with all the work that I have done now I can see this most ascended timeline very clearly. Before, it wasn't clear. It would kind of pop in my mind. Since I was quite young, actually, I would just simply have this vision of myself standing in front of a crowd of thousands of people doing some weird stuff. And before, I used to think, oh, I'm doing some weird stuff. I don't know what it is exactly. So sometimes I would think, oh, maybe I'm, I kind of channeling, but having my friends next to me, and psychic reading or doing some kind of healing, but it was never quite there. So it kind of just like, it was kind of, this timeline was kind of triggering me, because it is my crystalline timeline, my most ascended timeline, the best of the very best version of myself, which is what I'm aiming for, no less than that. And this would come to remind me, there's this opportunity. And what comes in our imagination is actually timelines available to us. So we can observe whatever happens in our imagination, in our thoughts, in our dreams, as so many options available to us. And then we can choose to anchor ourselves that, oh, I like that. I like seeing myself in front of a crowd. I freaking like it. I've always loved public speaking. I was useless at school. Like, I really didn't like it, except when I was standing in front of the class, in front of a stage. Like, I've always loved it. The public fuels me. I'm a monkey Chinese sign, like I can be an entertainer, even though I'm deep introvert, right? Anyway. So when I see that in my imagination, I'm like, I like it. Help me. I want to get there. What do I need to be doing? How do I need to be within myself to access that? And then you start observing everything that you do in your everyday life. Is smoking, drinking, eating junk food, like partying hard, aligned to that version? No. So discarding, collapse of this timeline. Bam! Not talk about them again. And every single day the same thing. In this for that timeline, do I need to meditate? Yes. Do I need to practice yoga? Yes. Do I need to walk in nature? Yes. Do I need to connect with my galactic team on a daily basis? Yes. Do I need to live from the heart? Hell yes. Do I need to connect with like-minded sisters? Oh yes. Do I need to live in New Zealand and stay here and anchor myself in Wellington, even though I have itchy feet and I dream to live in other places? Yes, and so on and so on. So every time I have options in my life, I question, does it help me align myself to the most ascended timeline available to me right now? And that is the most available to me right now. The most ascended, the crystalline timeline available to me through my awareness. It is not for me to say that there is not another one or multiple ones that are even bigger than that. And even in that timeline, I do not have all the cards yet. I'm working on it, because the more I can connect to it and call it in, the faster it goes, because it's like all of these crumbling timelines come, because no, like this one used to be here, kind of like there, like in the distance, you know, every now and then popping, but now I can feel it is right here. So what I'm doing, it's like with every action and single decision of trust and surrendering in the knowing and divine certainty that my success is inevitable, that I'm always on the right path, that at every crossroad that I stand at, I am making the decision based on my soul frequencies, choosing to be the biggest person I can be in this very moment. Every time I do that, chung, 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 this timeline coming here, here, here. And when it's like really so much present, I expand it. So there is a crumbling of outdated timelines. And recently, has happened on a big level, because not only do I do that now, but it is also happening in the quantum, because our galactic friends work with us. So my galactic friends, I ask them, please help me with this, please collapse outdated timelines, remove blocks, remove false programming, remove false templates residing inside of me. Please do it now. Clear me. Help me, heal me, and recode me. Help me recode. Bring in new templates, new paradigms, new timelines that are most ascended. I'm here for you. We work together. I am there to serve you, to serve humanity. And this is constant, constantly talking as well with the friends in spirit that are there to help you in the quantum. We need a team. It's so much easier and much more fun to do that. Talking about a team, connect to your 5D team, your friends in spirit. Even though you're not quite sure how to connect with them, still go for it. I mean, it's just like, it's actually easier than you would think. If you wonder how to do that, I have an online course, the Galactic Intuitive, which is like comprehensive course to take you from A to Z about developing your intuition, going on deep spiritual growth to allow you to connect with your galactic team, but also to download your soul mission coming from your highest timeline. So all of that is on cendrines.com if you're interested to dive deep into subjects. It's full of Arcturians activations, actually. It's awesome. So connect to your 5D team regularly. Ask them for help and also ask them for guidance. How can I serve you? How can I anchor myself into my highest timeline, be the best version of myself right now? But also create a 3D team. Create a group around you. It's like a cocoon, relationships that are highly uplifting. Like people who are a call upon your light. Like I have had friends in the past. After talking to them, I would be drained and so negative, and I would lose hope. These friends were not helping me anchor myself into my highest timeline. They were taking me into the lowest timeline possible of feeling that there is no issue with my financial debts, which, by the way, is sorted a lot more easily than ever expected because I'm anchored in my highest timeline. No financial possibilities ever for me, like I would never find the right guy, like everything is so hard, right? And so that all of these conversations were so blah. And even though like I would keep on trying and so on, there was like, there is nothing wrong with getting a normal job, to have a paycheck and have all of weekends off. I was like, fuck that, like if you're telling me this, you don't know me yet after 3 years of friendship, I think it's bye-bye for now. And like also people who say, don't aim too high, because you're gonna burn if you aim too high and you're gonna be disappointed. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like, No, thank you. I will aim as high as I would like. And if you are not uplifting and encouraging, if you do not get it, we might not have coffee together anymore. Bless your beautiful soul, but I choose friendships where people are going to say, of course you can do it, sister, you're amazing, just keep on creating, I'm there for you, and by the way, I've just listened to the podcast, it's going to help you, oh, and I've met this healer, you need to have a session, like she's going to help you. And friends that can call in your light and being a mirror of that light, that is extremely important. And find support as well from healer. You know, I am here for you if you need me. And also I have a support team. Like I have amazing people who help me, you know, like activators and healers and channels. You know, like I work with that because I am humble enough to acknowledge the fact that I certainly do not hold all the keys and I do not know everything. Far from it, like very far from it. You know, I have coaches and I have mentors, and so yeah, of course I have a support team. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to deliver the way I deliver. Okay, so observe as well in your life the support that you have. If this supporting your best self, your most ascended timeline, or are they really holding you back in an outdated version of yourself? How can you work around that? Who can you let go so you can call in new friendships? So something I'd just like to talk about before finishing, it's the importance of imagination. So imagination is actually extremely powerful because what we imagine is being created in the quantum. So for example, in the past, I would tend to imagine like really weird and negative stuff. Like I don't know, like for example, I would receive a letter from the bank saying that I own certain debt or like that I own that money, and I've got no clue what that money is, really it doesn't ring a bell. I think it's a mistake. And in my imagination, I would think that they would not understand, that I would be charged, and that I would have an asshole on the phone who would be like really condescending and so on, and it would be like really difficult. And guess what would happen? It would be very unpleasant. Like when I would have these people on the phone, I would be kind of even mean, and I would be actually condescending and sharp and so on. So my imagination actually created that reality. And it's also with projection around a relationship. Like I used to project so much on the masculine. My apologies. But it came from like once I've worked on that. So I don't do that anymore. It's like, oh, guys, they're all the same. They're useless. They're so self-centered. Like they're not spiritual. They never get it. And so like this would run in my imagination. Like I would meet a guy and I would have all of these things. Oh, like he's gonna leave me anyway, like because of this. Like my imagination would take me in a freaking like low vibe timeline, not uplifting at all. So now what I do, and especially like going to bed, for example, I would think about challenges and difficulties and how I'm gonna go like about this and about that. So anyway, I talked about that. So now I'm really careful with where my imagination goes, and I'm like, nope. As soon as it arrives, it's like, nope. Like again, I received there was something weird with my credit card, like debt, and I thought I do not owe those debts. It's bizarre. Like I don't know what's happening, and I was like, okay. First, I'm going like, oh, again, same pattern would come, same timeline, same outdated version of myself started coming into my reality. I was very quick. I was like, nope. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to center myself into my heart. I'm connected to my soul, and I'm going to trust. I trust the universe. The universe always has my back. It always had my back. I trust myself, and I trust the past entirely. And I will call the beautiful person who on the phone is going to serve me with the best, doing the best they can. Like doing their job and being amazing at it. And I'm going to create an amazing, relation in these few minutes on the phone. And they're going to help me sort it out. And I'm going to, vibrate higher after. And I did that this morning, and it was amazing. It lasted 5 minutes, and we sorted out like very quickly. And this person on the phone was absolutely lovely, and so was I. And it was so like yes, done it. And so I use my imagination now to keep anchoring myself into my ascended timeline. When I drive my lovely car, who's called Lila, you know, like spontaneity and fun. I drive my little Prius, which is beautiful but very damaged. You know, I'm a good driver, but it's kind of still full of bumps and scratches all over. There's some bits and pieces missing around it also. It needs some repairs, but I love my little car. And anyway, I'm driving my car and I'm like literally imagining, eyes open, obviously, because I'm driving, I'm imagining myself driving my white Maserati, and I'm there and my hair are amazing, and I'm like, my body is amazing because I've just been on a holiday, so I'm all tanned, and like, you know, like I've got really a nice body because I do so much yoga and so much fasting and sauna, and I've got really nice, expensive clothes, but very natural fabric as well. And I'm just like, literally, when I drive my car, I visualize myself like that. I know it can sound shallow. I don't care, like, I'm not interested in any luxuries at all. Like, honestly, like, it's crazy. I'm not interested in jewelry, in perfumes, not so much in clothes. I don't have many clothes. I just want really nice clothes, a few nice clothes, like a nice house, a land. But I want a Maserati for some reason. It keeps on coming there. And yeah, like, it's just like, I don't know, I like a nice car, and I want to be the owner of that nice car, and I want it to be really girly and feminine also, hence white. So I allow myself that as well, because if I was to say, oh no, you cannot have that dream, it is very shallow, it is very degrading, it is not spiritual, then what do you think would happen if I didn't allow myself to explore this heart desire that I have? I would close that timeline entirely. But I can receive this desire. Me visualizing myself driving a freaking amazing white Maserati, being my millionaire self, helps me tap into these frequencies of my most ascended timeline, where I am also in front of a stage doing mass activation, serving my divine purpose, and using the wealth I receive to redistribute wealth on a different level, you know, to like-minded communities, helping shift society and humanity all together. So this is interwoven in my most ascended timeline. And maybe I'll get there and I'll be like, I actually don't really care about the car anymore. Like, it was just kind of needed for me to open up my heart portal, open up all the systems and the codes of abundance needed to be fully integrated so I could be fully anchored in this most ascended timeline. Do you get what I mean? So allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to explore your heart desire. Observe also where your imagination goes. The time you spend in your mind chewing on things, on this person say this to me, or if I don't say this, then this is not going to happen. But if I say this, oh, I might offend, I might say that. Like, we lose so much time and life force energy in the headspace. Let's drop that. Let's go back into the heart center and really filter information from our heart portal, which is our deep inner knowing coming from our soul. Okay? Also, the last thing that my friends want you to know is that, generally speaking, at the moment, there is a deep evolution process undergoing onto Earth, right? So there is actually a lot of change in the matrix happening at the moment. They are working a lot in the quantum. So a lot of people are experiencing that, also very deep extremes in terms of experiences. So my friend says that more than ever, it is really important to get clear on where we reside, where we want to reside, what we want our life to be in this very moment, and also in our future. You know, calling in the best future life possible for us, but anchoring it in the now. Not simply visualizing in the future, not doing shit right now, staying on the couch moaning about our lives. That's not going to happen. So she says it's very important, because it's like, you know, our friends, they need guidance, because if you think about this, like your galactic team is waiting for you to choose so they can collapse our daily timelines. They cannot do that if you keep oscillating between them. They just can't, because you are in between these worlds, you know, and all these parallel lives. So they really need to feel your determination, your devotion, heart and soul, to the most ascended path possible, so they can close. And when they close all of that, a lot of outdated codes and programs are being removed, and then we can receive so much more life force energy. We receive life force energy, which is going to bring us like youth elixir and vibrant health and vitality, imagination for our most ascended timeline, downloads of products and creation, new relationship, and so on and so on. So do the work, my friend, with a heart open. All right? Okay, I trust that this message was received the way it needed to be received for you. And again, please share if you would like to share. It's my great honor and pleasure to read you and your comments. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you would like to dive deep into intuition and spiritual growth, again, you can check my Galactic Intuitive online course on my website, cendrines.com. And I thank you so much for watching. And remember, we were born free. Reclaim the power within now. Au revoir.